Stare too long into the abyss, and the abyss will stare back at ya. With these words, Mr. Robot presented the first video game ever, Pong. Up until then, introverted kids were protected from the outside world and its dangers, but because of this malignant creature, now they too could experience loss and defeat. But that's all it was, defeat. Then games became evil, blood, residents, eldritch horrors, EA. All of a sudden, children of all ages had to learn firsthand what awaits us all at the end of the tunnel. Death, the great Denzel Washington that makes us all equal. Losing was no longer an option, unless losing a limb was ever an option to begin with. I mean, it can technically be unless you live in America. But just like in the refined Greek and Latin tragedies of the past, death in video games is both shocking and liberating. It's cathartic. You can tell it's a smart word because there's a TH in there, like thalassophobia or thermometer. Yet, as the great Pinocchio once said, dying is boring, that's why it's the last thing I ever wanna do. Seriously, what comes after that? There's no PSP, no pizza, no Twitter, okay, maybe it doesn't sound too bad. But apparently, there's checkpoints. As cool as seeing your copy of the game self-destruct after game over would be, it would certainly make gaming quite expensive. More expensive, I mean. But I can't shake away that feeling of uneasiness I get whenever the game restarts after my guy has been gutted like a piggy. The illusion is broken, the magic circle vanishes and I'm reminded it's all just a digital, loopy, well-oiled machine. The game world magically restarts and it's all just the same as before. Not only it's illusion breaking, it's just plain boring. Same enemies, same levels, same events, it's like being in Hedgehog's Day. There are like 2 games where this didn't bother me. The Last of Us, because the AI was so good it behaved differently based on the enemy's current level of glucose, and Final Fantasy 16, because A, I died just once, and B, it was nice finally seeing the main character showing an emotion that was different from pissed kid at the first day in elementary school. Now, to be fair, there are ways to make the whole play, die, repeat less tedious, like in Splinter Cell Blacklist, where enemy's position was randomized after each game over, and oh, look at that! It was the last good AAA game Ubisoft ever made. The same year they'd start absolutely milking the shit out of Tom Clancy's dead body. See? It all comes together. But hey, Immersion, right? No amount of dwindles and sprinkles can stop me from noticing that 1 second ago the game was mocking my corpse and now I'm back to sprinting and delivering some bullet-shaped democracy in a very anti-propaganda game. Some of you maniacs out there probably have a simple solution to that. Just turn on permadeath. And that would be great if I could spend 20 hours per day gaming the same way Elon Musk does with Twitter. But there are games that go the extra mile and make death have gameplay implications. These are cool because rather than just resetting the game world, it feels like you left a trace on it. Most obvious example is making the player have to recover their lost experience after death in Star-like games, which are called like that because they all try to copy the revolutionary Star Wars Fallen Jedi. Or if the gooey ghosts get too attached to you in Death Stranding, you make a big-ass hole in the ground forever. And hey, remember how Demon's Souls would first cut your HPs in half and then it would make the current level harder and harder even though you were already screaming on top of your lungs trying to get out of the Godzilla 3rd Tower of Evil? Thanks, man. I fucking hate you. And then, your house getting destroyed by dick snakes in Minecraft. And, okay, I honestly can't think of many other examples. Every studio is still riding on that Star-like games craze, and they can't think of other ways to punish players' deaths in fun ways. Well, there kinda was Let It Die, but maybe its title should already tell you everything you should know about that game. Wait, how much did they play that shit? Things do get different when we get into Big Boys Town. narrative implications. Baby, that's what I'm all about. It's not just the gameplay that is affected, but the whole story acknowledges your death, and the immersion is technically never broken, like in Star Souls, where you are some zombie dude whose repeated failures will lead to madness, which is just like being a Star Wars fan. Sure, sometimes they suck, like the Chambers of Life in BioShock that turned the game into a cakewalk, and if you didn't disable them right from the start of the game, you are never, ever going to be considered a true gamer. No cap, or whatever 10-year-olds say nowadays. But never mind that, let's talk about the good examples. Outer Wilds, where you're in a loop where your galaxy explodes every 22 minutes. Returnal, one of the 5 games on PS5 in which you're stuck in a time loop on an alien planet. 12 minutes, where you loop through the same 720 seconds where the Green Goblin tries to kill you before you see the actual ending of the game. And The Forgotten City, where you investigate an ancient city in a time loop. Then Death Loop, where you're in a loop. Alright, seriously, I like loops, okay? Loops are fun and delicious, but can we please have some new ideas? Zelda did that, what, 40 years ago? Wait, it came out when? This is becoming worse than the zombie games epidemic, and it's really sad because you can get really funky when death is plot relevant. If anything, just through dialogues. Half the fun of playing Hades was just reading the 5 billion different conversations you could have at every death. But even something simple can work. In Nier Automata, respawning was explained as you being uploaded to a brand new robo booty of your character, which made that one moment, which I don't wanna spoil, very cool. And why haven't you played Nier Automata yet, you son of a gun? And come on, why can't we have more of that cool Nemesis system from Assassin's Creed Mordor? The big orc kills you, you respawn because you're immortal, and the next time he sees you, he's all... Can't we have more of that? No, right. Warner Bros. Is evil and he patented it. That's like Nintendo patenting the idea of making fun games. Maybe they actually did. Would explain a lot. But RoboKnob, doesn't this make death feel less, you know, sticky and spooky? Well, not necessarily. You can make quests fail permanently if you die. You can give the player a limited amount of characters to use, and when they all die, it's game over. Or maybe what if dying too much made you evil and turned to the dark side and changed the entire game? Now this stuff makes death even more impactful, cause you're not just rewinding time like that cheater Prince guy. Undertale was a masterclass in that. The act of saving and reloading files was pivotal to its story and subsequent playthrough. Why can one guy do so much crazy stuff, and when a whole team of 400 people start working together, they can't even make a loading screen that doesn't look as void and barren as my soul? Very few games commit to their ideas so profoundly, and I'm sitting here, waiting for the next game that can rekindle the sparkle of my deathless obsessed soul. Probably gonna wait forever. Or however much time it's gonna take before I Am Jesus Christ is released. Oh crap, I almost forgot. My friend told me that I should be doing that call to action thing, so... If you also enjoyed that things and liked me talking about it, consider clicking that subscribe button. And if you know other games where death is quirky and cool, drop it in the comments and I will make fun of your personal taste. And this was the death of my self-respect.